Welcome to Memorial Cooking Innovations. I'm Tim Scallon, registered dietitian.
And I'm Manuel Marini, executive chef. Tim, I'm sorry, but I heard you calling me. I was in the freezer. I wasn't gonna.
Could you put that hat on just one more time?
No.
Okay, all right.
No.
It's a great look for you.
Oh, is it really? How's my hair?
I think it's okay. I think it's okay. All right, so, Chef Manny.
Yes.
You took me
by surprise.
Yeah.
I know. That's what makes our cooking fun.
Well, it is. It is. In fact, we hear that all the time from you guys.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm glad you agreed with me when we sat down and said, what are we going to do this month? I said, man, you know what? Let's do some wild spices, something that we're not really used to.
Yes.
And then let's go to India.
Okay.
Curry. Let's do a nice curry.
Chef Manny, I always thought that curry was like a single spice.
Yeah, and then, at the supermarket, we can get curry. You can get curry powder.
Yeah.
But what we're going to do is all these ingredients that actually make the curry, we're going to grind it ourselves. So that's,
okay.
You're going to help me do that, and we'll have
I
fun.
love it. Okay.
But yes, you can buy this already, and then basically we're going to kind of introduce different spices.
In medieval Europe, spices were so valuable that whole economies grew up around that. And, these days, we've just settled for salt, pepper, and garlic.
Yeah. And the good thing about it, when I said Indian, you said, you know what, my daughter went to India.
Well, that's right.
And that's a good thing, though.
Well, and in fact...
By coincidence, too.
Well, and she went to this island, Zanzibar, which is one of the spice islands, and she brought me this interesting little thing with cardamom and saffron and cloves. I mean, these are spices that we don't know these flavors.
Right. So today we will know these flavors.
All right. Okay.
Great.
All right. Well, let's do it then.
Now that we're ready, I see you brought your mortar and pestle.
I did.
So here's what I need you to do. We're going to grab a little fennel seeds, a little coriander, a little fenugreek.
Okay.
All right?
I'll start grinding those.
Yeah, if you don't mind, start grinding that right here. Okay. I'm going to put that right there if you don't mind.
Okay.
And then
I wanted to put it right here.
Well, whatever's comfortable for you. Okay, check this out. I am going to, while you're doing that, I got some fresh ginger, some turmeric, some garlic, a little chili powder, tomato paste, and I'm going to do my version of it here.
Okay.
And then we're going to combine it together to make a nice little curry.
One of the reasons why we're encouraging you to look at whole spices is because, for one thing, these whole seeds, like these fennel seeds, they'll last a lot longer than the ground version, and the aroma of these spices is just amazing. So I've got my fennel seed done.
Now on the ginger, you can grind it or shred it, whatever you like, or chop it, dice it really fine.
Smell this.
Oh, that is very nice.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm sorry. I interrupted you.
No, that's okay. So while it does take a little time, but this is a good family. Let's get together. Let's do something. Have fun cooking.
Yep.
All right. I'm going to add like 3 tablespoons of tomato paste.
Okay. If you're not real familiar with spices, who buys coriander seed? Well, you start simply, like pick something that you're familiar with. Like a good example, in fact, we'll use some cumin, I think, in our recipes today. Yeah. And so pick cumin, that's a spice that you're familiar with. Grind some fresh, instead of getting the ground cumin, buy the seeds, grind them, and you'll immediately notice the aroma. And then put that fresh ground cumin in your pot of beans.
Oh, that'd be
or
great.
A pot of chili.
How's it going over there, buddy?
Doing good. These Fenugreek seeds are real hard, so
that's why I gave you that. Look at me, I'm here. See how we work?
Okay, now some people use a coffee mill to grind things, but you see the small amount that I'm doing. This is a better tool. The mortar and pestle, it's an essential kitchen tool for grinding. You can get one of these at any kitchen store. Now, see, these are a little bit harder.
One right here.
Yeah. I'm the grinder.
You're the grinder.
Yeah.
All right.
This is like the daily grind, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Beautiful.
All right.
So what are we going to do now, Tim? Now we're going to add this to us.
Yeah,
to this.
let me see. We want a pinch of ground fenugreek. That's this one. Okay. Doesn't take much. Doesn't take much. Let's do just a little bit more.
There you go.
Okay, and then
you didn't bring your little measuring.
I should have. Randy gave us
the pinch and
the pinch measure.
I thought that was crazy. That was so funny.
Okay, 1/4 teaspoon of ground fennel seed. Oh, this smells so good. Okay, think that's about right.
Looks good.
Okay. And you know, this is not as much science as it is art, huh?
No, but it is fun.
You're just using. Now, this is 1.5 teaspoons of the coriander seed. So really,
That'd
I need
be good
a little.
right there.
You think that's enough?
I think so.
Okay.
We'll go for that.
All right. All right. So you're making a curry right now.
I'm making a curry right now.
Okay.
Just so everybody will see.
Yeah.
Smells good too, though.
You know, well, see, that's something that when you make dishes like this, especially Indian cuisine, these are going to be flavors that your palate has never experienced before.
You know, the thing about to make when you're making a curry is just an array of herbs brought in. That's a cooking.
And spices.
Spices,
yeah.
so.
And so you're literally going to make a sauce with this combination of spices.
Exactly.
So that would be...
That would be what a curry is. It's a combination of spices for a sauce.
Well, and so in India, they would use that sauce to flavor bread or to flavor...
vegetables, meats.
Yeah. Okay, there you go.
You know, so...
And, you know, we kind of have that tradition in Texas. You know, we take a salsa and we flavor corn chips with it. Or, you know, from Louisiana, our neighbor on the east, they take rice and flavor it with gravy. So they're doing a similar thing. So
this is good.
So you really kind of started with the paste, and now with the vegetable broth, you've turned it into a sauce. Okay.
All right. So now we're gonna do a chicken with it. We're gonna add.
Okay.
I might saute a little bit of onions.
Okay.
So while you do this,
yeah.
Did you want to mention something?
Well, yeah, I wanted to say that, you know, a lot of whole spices you can get, like here are peppercorns in the grocery store. You can get, this is whole caraway seed. You can get whole anise seed. And when you smell these, you can just really smell there is more flavor in these whole spices than in the ground ones. And so try some of these things and get your mortar and pestle and grind some, and you'll be amazed. It's kind of like the difference of, like around here you would say it's like homegrown tomatoes. You know the difference, how fresh and flavorful homegrown tomatoes are?
Oh yeah.
And so that's the difference in the ground spices versus the whole spices.
So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to go ahead and sweat the onions. I got my chicken in the refrigerator.
So in a curry, you know, you've taught us in other sauces to sweat the onions. That's like a starting step. And so it's the same when making a curry. You sweat the onions.
You sweat the onions.
Okay. All right.
So I got the chicken here, nice chicken breast, skinless.
Okay.
We're just going to dice it up, okay, Tim?
All right.
Let me put the chicken in here.
Okay.
It's going to be something good to enjoy. Got another one right here.
You want to hand me that spoon right there? I'll stir it.
Sure. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
You stir while I wash my hands.
Okay.
There you go, Tim.
There you go. Yeah.
Let me shake this real quick.
Yeah.
There you go.
And basically, all you're doing with this chicken, you're not really trying to cook it. You're just sealing in the moisture. So this is the same as what you've taught us on cooking chicken before.
Yes, exactly. We're just searing the moisture in it. The flavors are there. Mm-hmm. Good job.
Mm-hmm. So when I was talking to somebody, I was telling them we're going to do a curry on the next show, and they said, "Oh, curry, that's like a dish with rice, curried rice." And so that's why I had to tell them, well, actually, curry can mean a lot of different things, you know.
So we're going to add our sauce?
Yep. That looks good.
That's good. Now all the wonderful flavors, smells. So here's a trick. Close your eyes, and then you and I know what's in it. But if we ask somebody else, just come in and say, okay, what do you smell? What flavors do you smell?
Yeah.
And that's where it all comes in. Look at that. Beautiful. Now the trick to this is we're gonna kind of mix it, cover it up like that. We'll cover it up and let it cook for about 8 to 10 minutes.
Okay.
All right, and it's low medium heat.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna turn your fire down a little bit.
Perfect.
And then, then you're gonna once that cooks, then you got a couple more ingredients you're gonna add.
Then once that cooks, then we're gonna add our chilies.
Yeah.
Right, and let me have that right there. Yeah. Perfect. So we're gonna let it cook for just a few minutes. We'll be back to finish this off.
Okay.
It's looking very good, huh, Tim?
And it smells.
The smell is there.
I wish you could smell this.
Now let's talk about peppers. Thanks for passing me the peppers. Now, in the past we talked about peppers. You know, you can't always rely on being hot or not. The other day we had chile rellenos, and my pepper happened to be the hottest one.
But somebody else's wasn't.
Somebody else's wasn't.
Both the same pepper.
Pepper, same store, same everything. So one of the things, remember, always wash your hands right after using it. Another one would be to spray a little bit of oil in your hands so you can rinse them off later. Wear gloves.
Don't want to touch our eyes.
Don't want to touch anything, period. So we want to leave it like that. Okay, let me get my cutting board here.
And this particular pepper is an arbol, which I didn't know. I found these peppers at our local Mexican grocery store, La Michoacana, and they have a lot of really good peppers there. I would invite you to go check their store out. But these particular peppers on a hot scale, I had to look this up to find it, are somewhere between a serrano and a cayenne. So these are going to be a hot pepper, especially to our palates, not used to eating them.
Yeah, so very important is just take out the seeds.
Yeah. And that's true for all peppers. We kind of learned that on the last show, that any pepper, if you want the depth of flavor that they bring and the nutrients, but you don't want it to burn you up, seed them.
Yeah, and you also, when you came up the other day, talked to me about what you learned about the peppers, and I said, yeah, the ghost peppers are supposed to be considered the hottest and whatnot, so
yeah.
It's pretty amazing.
I was talking to Gloriella, who works at the Polk Education Center with us here, and her dad, when I told her about that I found these arbol peppers, she knew this pepper, and she said, yeah, my dad eats those on the side of a meal.
Yeah.
But he's used to it. Yeah, he's used to it.
You and I's palate's not as tough as some others, so we're just going to do a little bit of it, okay, Tim?
In peppers, there is a molecule called capsaicin. And this molecule is what makes peppers hot, capsaicin. There have been a lot of science done on this particular molecule. It has some use in terms of pain relief as a topical ointment. Also, capsaicin has been shown to lower blood pressure.
So here's what we're going to do. We're going to add the peppers to it.
Okay.
I'm not taking too much of a chance.
Yeah.
I like spicy stuff, but not too spicy.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
All right. So let me get this one going real quick. Let me mix in that flavor. And then we're going to finish off with a little coriander. And when you ask me about coriander, a lot of times we know it by, in the Latin, would be cilantro.
Cilantro, yeah. Cilantro.
All right, so we're going to top it off with a little cilantro.
Fresh cilantro.
Fresh chopped cilantro.
Another fresh herb bringing some real interesting flavor into this dish.
And we are ready. So we're going to just let it finish off just a little bit and we're ready. Now that we got the chicken, Tim, we're ready for the vegetable pulao.
Okay,
all right?
Let's do it.
So here we got some cumin seeds.
Okay.
Now, the recipe does call to get your cashews. Let's talk about nuts.
Yeah.
The cashews, peanuts. We're going to use almonds. We have so many of them.
Yeah.
So we're going to use almonds. So what I did was I roasted them lightly, okay?
Okay.
So it calls to do, roast them.
And so that's a change from what we're doing in this recipe.
Yeah, we're just going to, the nut.
If you were doing cashews, you'd saute them and set them aside.
Yeah, set them aside, but be careful, they will burn. You just make sure you're constantly stirring them up and then pull them out.
Okay.
Okay. So then we're going to add... And then we got to cook it a little bit. And now what happens with some of these spices, in order to bring out that flavor that you want, some need more cooking than others.
Okay. So you have to add them at a certain amount of time.
Exactly. And if, you know, the recipe, you kind of don't understand the recipe, just kind of try to follow that recipe. They're kind of giving you an idea how it works to combine those flavors.
Excuse me. So in a curry, part of the making of a curry is a precise process that keeps you from burning some spices and not undercooking others.
Exactly.
That's what you're telling me.
That's what it is.
Okay.
Then once we got this nice roasted, we're going to add some coriander, some bay leaves, and a little clove.
Cardamom.
Cardamom, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, and a little clove.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you really like that mortar there, don't you?
Yeah, yeah.
All right, so we're going to add those. We're going to mix it together real quick. Let me get my spoon. We're going to kind of bring out the flavor. We can smell it here. I wish you guys could smell it there, but it's really, really, really nice.
And this would be an example of a vegetable curry because you're making a sauce. You're going to add some vegetables to it, and you're going to serve it with rice.
Exactly. So we got some carrots here.
Yeah, yeah.
We're going to add the carrots. We're going to cook these off a little bit.
Yeah. I can really, as
we smell it. We can smell it here. I wish you guys can smell it. I got a little bit of onions. Just cook off your carrots. It all depends on how thickness you dice them up and whatnot. So
well, and I'm glad you said that because you notice, I think you can see that he diced those carrots pretty small. And, you know, this is kind of a basic rule. Like you made those carrots and onions match your rice.
Match my rice, yeah. So we're doing pretty good here.
Yeah.
So what you think? I mean, if only you could, maybe in the future it's smell TV.
Yeah.
If they could smell the spices that we have here, it's unbelievable.
Well,
it's not a strong flavor like we imagine Indian cuisine. Now, remember curry.
It's subtle, in fact.
Curry can be enjoyable. A lot of times, it depends on your taste. You can make it stronger or light. I like the lighter curry for me.
Not too hot.
Not too hot, not too strong on the spice, just smooth. And this is what this is all about, smooth.
Well, and you were talking about adding clove to this, and earlier you were saying that clove is a bold flavor.
It is, and then you can add it to a beef, to chicken. It brings that wham on in there, so it's nice to use. Yeah. But be careful how much cloves you use.
Like just grind one or two, and just a pinch, just to start until you learn how the spice is.
And again, to me, a clove is the spices. Sometimes, you know, they've been sitting in the market. We don't know how long they are, so some they might be stronger than others.
Yes.
So, you know, if you don't mind rinsing that out for me, while I keep stirring this. But if everybody could just smell this, it smells wonderful. Our chicken is looking good. We're almost there.
Okay, now this recipe is interesting because it calls for soaked rice. So you take your basmati rice and you soak it for 30 minutes. Now this is something different. We don't usually do that when we cook rice.
No, we usually just season the water, boil it, and cook it, or finish it on the oven. You don't mind that, Tim?
But what you're doing...
But you know what? This is helping cook quicker.
Yes, that's exactly right.
Like we did the vegetables,
Yeah, that's right.
So it's helping us to cook a little quicker there.
And this brown rice, this brown basmati, in fact, I want to talk a little bit about that because we're actually using what's called a Texmati. And this Texmati is basmati rice that's grown in Texas. Basmati is aromatic. It's real flavorful. In fact, you describe it as having a nutty flavor.
Nutty flavor. To me, it's like a nice nutty flavor. And I really enjoy eating basmati.
And interestingly, of course, you all have heard me talk about how brown rice is better than white rice for a lot of different reasons. It's not just fiber. There's a lot of vitamins and minerals in brown rice that we don't get in the white. But also, interestingly, basmati brown rice has 20% more fiber than other brown rice. So I thought that was good to know.
That's good to know. So now that we got the rice going, we're going to go ahead and simmer it for about 10 to 15 minutes. Okay. Reduce the heat a little bit and just let it simmer.
Let it soak up the water.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a lot of evidence that spices offer health benefits. For example, spices are concentrated sources of polyphenols, and polyphenols in plant foods may be the reason why people who eat plant-based diet have lower incidence of cancer and heart disease. Flavonoids in cinnamon reduce inflammation in the body, and inflammation is a root cause of heart disease. Learning to cook with spices helps us to reduce our use of salt. The recommended limit of 1,500 milligrams a day is a tough goal for most Americans. For example, 1 teaspoon of salt has 2,300 milligrams of sodium, so that's a hard one to reach. Well, the variety of flavors from spices gives us more tools, more flavors in our palate so that we don't rely so much on salt. Spices enrich our food experiences, and tastier foods are more satisfying.
Tim, I guess the rice is ready. While it was simmering, I added the corn, the peas, and the almonds.
Okay.
All right, so we're good.
Well, you want a plate?
Yeah, if you don't mind.
All right.
Look at that. Very nice. Oh, that smells wonderful, huh?
You know, it's these whole spices that create such a dramatic aroma and flavor in this dish. You know, as you're putting that together, I just want to say thank you to Sodexo for Chef Manny Marini.
Hold that. Doesn't that look good?
I've got to try this.
Yes.
I've got to just try this.
Just the smell, the flavors. How's that? Good?
I wish you could try this.
This is good.
We'd like to thank Sodexo for Chef Manny Marini.
Pleasure.
And we want to say thank you to our friends at the City of Lufkin, and also thanks to Brookshire Brothers and the folks at the Polk Education Center. Thank you all for helping to produce this. And Chef Manny, this is just incredible.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
The spices, the flavors, it's things like this that is causing us to change the world one bite at a time.
Back to work, huh?
Back to work.
Gotta go. I gotta go finish inventory.
You're back in the freezer.
I'm back.
All right, we'll see you next time, man.